Good evening guys, welcome back to another interesting video of Success Tracker. The COVID-19 of the corona family of viruses has struck the whole world into a great bewilderment. The WHO Director General very recently had in a desperate tone stated that there will be no going back to old normal for the foreseeable future. The whole world organizations and nations are seeking to find the cause of the outbreak. There is no valid source hit here to substantiated by the scientists. There are rumors and allegations only. Let's have a look at the source of the outbreak. As per the Chinese sources, the virus has to be originated at the food market in Wuhan. The 27 out of 41 patients has been found infected from Wuhan. The news though doesn't have any conclusive evidence, the Chinese government immediately did shut down the market. The fact is that they have seen such an emergence of coronavirus before in 2002. We know that a large amount of virus originated in animals like the influenza from birds and pigs, HIV from chimpanzees, Ebola and Nipah from bats and many more. COVID-19 too is suspected having originated from bats and propagated to pangolins and hence to humans. The viruses are very good at jumping between the species, but still it has been rare for a deadly one to make all the humans way to humans, because it needs all these hosts to encounter each other at some point. The Wuhan market is a wet market, which means a kind of place where animals are slaughtered and sold for consumption. The cages are stacked one over the other, and hence the animals at the bottom are all of kind of liquid, specifically animal excrements, pus and bloods. This exactly make the virus jump from one animal to another. If the final host comes to contact or is consumed by a human, the virus could potentially infect them, and subsequently the spread from one human to another causes an outbreak. Wet markets are scattered all over the world, but the ones in China are particularly well known because they offer a wide variety of animals including wildlife. The menu offered there not a little will amuse us that it contains numerous animals all over the world. Each of them has the potential to carry a virus of its own. The reason for such matter is that a decision China government made decades ago. Back in 1970s, China was falling apart, famine slayed more than 36 million people, and the communist government, which controlled all the food production, was failing to feed its humongous subjects. In 1978, in the verge of collapse, the regime gave up the control and allowed private farming, and so large companies increasingly dominated the production of foods like pork and poultry. Also, some smaller farmers started catching wild animals as a way to sustain themselves. Since it started to feed and sustain people, the Chinese government too backed it. And even in 1988, the government made a decision that changed the shape of wildlife trade in China by enacting the Wildlife Protection Law. The law decides that animals as resources owned by states, and thereby protected people engaged in the utilization of wildlife resources. The law too encouraged domestication and breeding of wildlife. Thus, an industry was born entirely based on this, and they nourished expeditiously by turning farms into industrial-sized operation platforms. The bigger population of such animals infallibly rooted the chances of sick animals to spread disease. To be more literal, farmers raising a wide variety of animals, the more there are viruses on farms. Nonetheless, these animals were funneled into the wet market for profit while the legal wildlife farming industry was booming. It simultaneously provided cover for an illegal wildlife industry. Endangered animals like tigers, rhinoceros, and pangolins were trafficked to China. As we mentioned earlier, the severe acute respiratory syndrome, or the SARS outbreak, was traced to a wet market in southern China in 2003. Then, scientists found traces of virus in farmed civet cats. Chinese government quickly shut down market and banned wildlife farming as a temporary solution. But after a few months, the Chinese government declared 54 species of wildlife, including civet cats, legal for farming again. Also in 2016, the government sanctioned the farming of some endangered species like tigers and pangolins. The acute fact to say, according to reliable sources, is that majority of the Chinese people does not consume wildlife. The ones that consume are the rich and powerful minority. It cannot be kept unsaid that the Chinese government favor this minority over the rest. By 2018, the Chinese wildlife industry had grown to 148 billion yuan and developed clever marketing strategies to keep markets around. It's unknown that they do not sell the wild meats directly, but in the form of tonics, products of bodybuilding, sex enhancing, and the cause of disease fighting. These products are trusted by the population and the government shows connivance. As of today, immediately after the corona outbreak, the Chinese government shut down thousands of wet markets and temporarily banned the wildlife trade again. Organizations around the world urges China to make the ban permanent. The Chinese social media also is said to have entreating the government with the same demand. Unless such stringent measures are taken by the Chinese government, the population will repeatedly be exposed to such pandemics. This is why we used to say never to rely upon temporary solutions for long run. The tool China used to overcome economic crisis decades ago has transformed to a serpent hissing at the same hands. As far the global dependence prevails, the containment of any biological threat will definitely conquer the whole globe. Now, let's hope for our scientists to successfully introduce a vaccination for the existing COVID-19. Afterwards, we can believe that measures will be taken by the world unitedly to prevent such dreadful outbreaks. Click the like button below if you like the video. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for getting notification of our latest videos. Also, share the video and add your valuable comments in the comment box. Thank you for supporting us.